Okay. Standard run, tough, slipways. What are we going to do today? There's going to be mining focus. Something for the Picard to aspire to, right? Not a huge fan, but sure. Let's go ahead and play a run with mining focus. What are the other things going to be? Random race and perks. Well, the Bakara here. As are the Denda and the Vittori. Alright. Combination doesn't show up all that often. Together with Prospectors. That's the asteroid bonus. As well as Scientific Fleet. For every plant, couple plants, 4 plants we discover, we get some science. And Prospectors makes asteroids more valuable and more common. I believe it's 20 or 30%. 30% is value increase and 20% is the amount of signals that turn into asteroids. So I want my stream thing to actually work. Seems like it does. Alright. What other techs do we have available? There are orbital labs which I spot over here to make science. There's also Elysium products and replicating nanites for late game. There are teleporters and space-time inversion as well to more quickly go for that. So there's something to be to aspire to, I suppose. And then there is, of course, deep drilling to make more ore. I can't remember if it's consumed ore though, or if it's just all ore that you create for the perk. I'll have to take a look. I mean, we can look in game, right? Statistics sector produced, not necessarily consumed. So deep drilling is actually quite good, just getting us a bunch of points at the end. And it's only 3 science, right? So the question really becomes, do we want 2 of the techs on the first row? If we do, then we should take them immediately. Hydroponics is also a tech that can be quite good. Xeno studies I'm not too much of a fan of. Typically, just building a water lab ends up getting you like nearly all the value from that anyway. And the upkeep difference is zilch between those 2 things. Although Xenolabs does give you money for the trades into it. The problem with it is just that it can never become even successful. Right? That's the main problem with it. It sort of gets in the way of making prosperous plants. Right, so how do we start? Oof. That's not really what I want to do. Sticky mouse. Well, that's... we just lit up the thing I want to do, I think. The biggest possible scan is, I think, the way to go if you have the car. It ends up doing it sometimes where you don't get your scan immediately. I think we'll do another scan. Only for 3 this time, though. Okay, this looks better. So can we achieve something here? Well, the main question still is the availability of food, right? Because that's an option, right? But, you know, so would this be. Like that. And there are a bunch of connections. As would even be, you know, a farm on here. Which we might be able to afford using scanning. I'm going to have a look over here as well. This is difficult, isn't it? This would want ore and biomatter if it wants to upgrade. This would like water. And the only way we can do anything is via colony. Why don't I start making water? There are 3 possible sources for it here. So I don't think it's too bad to make water on this ocean planet. Given that we can consume 3 of the 4 things we're making. Now a good question is, like, what else do we do this year? Do we scan or do we colonize something? If I colonize something, what do I colonize? It's hard to tell, really. There's not much to get, really, right? And this is desert over here. They can make food later, but I believe it won't reach. Even if it did, it would be horribly expensive for this early in the game. But I'm confident we'll find some food, right? We did. There we go. I might as well connect this, but I'm not sure if I want to. It kind of depends on what this is, right? This is not too expensive to run at only 1, so sure. I've got a solution for it. We can use one of the food in there. Ah, it wants us to get it to successful. That would require a biomatter in there. Discover 6 new plants. Is easy. Why don't we invent a technology though? There's a really easy technology to invent. In fact, if I'm going to go ahead and just scan right now, I'll also be able to see if I'm somehow willing to... I don't know. It depends a bit on what we want to do. It does make money, right? But it also makes people, which I might not want. If I take the deep drilling, we complete our task. If I then scan here, as well as there, I suppose then, we complete the other task. That's sort of what I wanted to do. Because we might get a Dender quest to make humans. We did not. We got a quest to discover more planets. I suppose we'll take that too. Establish a lab studying biomatter of all things. Well, we can do just colonize plants of 6 different types, right? I'm not sure if I want to do the biomatter lab thing already. Science is hard to do this early on tough. So I don't... Can we, like, get a microchip in here? Yeah, that's the problem, right? I would love to use this other food. Maybe we could use it here. And then, you know, that will work. I think we'll go with that. So that's already 3 different types of planets, right? Can we do a biomatter lab? Oh yeah, we just started out, right? All we did is scan some things. The nice thing about this run so far is that we found 2 missions complete just by scanning some planets, right? Because the Bakar had a scanning mission, and the Vittori had a mission to invent a technology, for which we just invented something that currently doesn't do anything, deep drilling, but which just counts as a technology. So we can colonize 6 planets quickly. I'm debating whether or not we should establish a lab studying biomatter right now. There is already biomatter down here, but whether or not there's a second one is going to be a mystery. The thing is, I have to take this before. The easier thing to do would probably be just to discover 13 new planets, because this is guaranteed to, you know, happen. Though it'll probably be somewhat slower than the lab option with regards to getting science. But right, so since we did not get a mission to, you know, get people or anything, but I do want to get some income up, why don't I just connect that, and then we can connect this as well, making this no longer struggling, and then, you know, we can complete the whole loop like that, and even send in water, making us 18 income. This is unfortunately obstructed by the lava world. It's a bit sad, but, you know, can't win them all. I could even make additional robots over here as well to use in the desert. I think as a second tech, hydroponics would be quite good in this scenario. The robots will be usable here to make food. The food will then be usable there. I believe that a hydroponics farm also requires water, which could then come from here as well. Although I believe we are maybe lacking some water. How much are you making? 3. Huh, that's actually not enough. It's pretty rare that an ocean planet doesn't make enough water, but this might be the case. So then the choice is like, which one do we send it to? It kind of depends on what the Vittoria wants us to do afterwards, right? The Vittoria can have a quest to make 2 scavenger worlds successful, and the Dender can have a quest to make 2 food-producing planets successful. And then, you know, where the water goes depends on which quest actually happens. Well, I think here we just start with this 2-way trade. That should make us quite a bit of money as well. We have 13. This is 12. That might not be the best idea though, because we only have 5 months available. I could take this asteroid for 8. Asteroids are worth a little bit more, which is kind of nice. Also scan a bit. It's worth some science, and also we can get some money if we can get 13 plants scanned, although I don't believe we've revealed enough information to be able to do that. Ah, there's also another primordial world here. We should have gone for the biomatter lab, and again, you know, hindsight 2020. Okay. I could take this. Alright. There's not a lot of food available. Is this connectable? It is. So yeah, food in this desert would be quite nice. It would unlock the ability to use this biomatter. You know, this could be a colony, for example. And then I don't really know what to do with all these remnant worlds though. Like, I'm looking towards this biomatter. I'm like, you know, the Vittoria idea for a biomatter lab wasn't half bad. There are 2 bacteria breedings and 2 colonies. That's full science already. Should have taken it, right? Well, maybe not, because we wouldn't have the money to really complete it, right? It's sort of the flip side of that. Go ahead and take this asteroid. I don't have 30 money, but it should be sufficient to tide us over. The problem will be this connection, right? I would love to be able to make it. We can only do 1 more until we have to face empire size increase as well. So perhaps we should colonize something far away and scan to gain the Bakar money. It would be a bit of a risky play. Do we like risky plays today? Are we willing to go something like this, right? 1, 2, 3, probably 5 plants over here, getting us 11 out of 13. This is kind of a very risky thing to do in tough. Though, you know, I'm holding on to this lab hope, but, you know, it's not necessarily what you want to do. There's an alternative to just build a monoculture farm. You know, that works. Also, I've just realized if we make this connection, then what's going to happen is that we will not have a biomatter available to send into this farm over there. And I believe the 3rd thing that desert farms require is biomatter after water. If I'm not mistaken. I have to dig into my memory here. What do they require again? Yeah, so we can pick up the Bakar thing, right? That would enable me to sort of like fix everything. I do like that idea. That's 3 plants. We need 4 more. Well, there's the 2 I expected. So this is all going as planned. And the hard part will be finding at least 2 additional ones. Okay, we just got the 1. I'm a bit disappointed by that, but go ahead and grab these then. There's the other one. Okay, now we get the 2 additional science for that. And now with the 70 money, we should be able to fix everything. Also, with the 2 additional science, we can afford the hydroponics. The scouting science, neat, right? So then, we can get this as well. The 6 more science. We might just sort of like scrounge our science without building any labs whatsoever. That would be something. Like, is that maybe a viable option? To not build any laboratories at all? To just go with orbital labs? And then upgrade them immediately? It's not half bad, actually. It saves you a lot of money. Also, if we wait 1 more month, also we can sort of save 8 credits, I suppose. I don't know if that's necessary. I don't think so. Self-sustaining ecosystem. I mean, there's a cheap way to save a credit. If someone doesn't like it, but I don't have a way to solve that anyway. Alright. Yeah. We can get the 6 science. Get orbital labs. We cheat our way to orbital labs. And place one. Oh, yeah, I wanted this here. It is a point of science. Can't build it here yet. Right. What we could do is just build a monoculture farm. And still get most of the income. We get 18 income, not 10. Because we only get hit by the empire size after the year start. Always nice. And then we get sort of this option. Like that looks good, right? And then we want to get this done. So let's go ahead and found a goods factory at the very least. Not just sure what else to get. We could get like a microchip in here, for example, right? Do we have asteroid tech actually? No, we don't, right? Okay. Then there want 2 more plants. We already got a remnant planet though, so those 2 plants have to be like new types. You haven't done yet? We can just connect this in as well. Explore more of those. I'm not sure what I want to do over here, for example. We could do a mechanized harvest. That forms a 2-way trade via the other bot. But it doesn't lock off the ability to get goods in there, but I mean we can't anyway, it's obstructed, so it's not a huge loss. This is cheap to run, right? Only 1 credit. Counts towards the den mission too. Might as well send in the additional biomatter. Do we have some kind of value out of additional inputs later? No, but the money it makes it worth it, I would believe. I would imagine. At the very least. Okay, so yeah. Jungle. Primordial Forge World. I think the desert here is quite good to do as well. It's kind of amazing, isn't it? This works out quite well. We have a Forge World and a Remnant and a Primordial though. So we want to do something like a desert, for example, here. Like if I just found this desert farm, hypothetically speaking, the mission immediately completes. I want to do this desert farm still. I think it's a good way to go about it. Okay, where do you want us to go? Far, far away. Okay. Well, then, you know, just accept the 2 other missions. It should be easy, right? A non-choice. We'll just go ahead and fix as many things as possible at this point. Maybe the scavenger world over here is a good choice. I don't... maybe we can sort of get as much income as possible and then trigger this rune for 52 what is it? Like lots of value. The idea would be to get more orbital labs up with that money. Get to 69. That's, we can actually use like 40 of that to build 2 more labs. Now we got 3 science income. Maybe you should build a regular lab as well at some point. For now, these are, you know, sort of like keeping us afloat. A bit of a sad thing that this can't get goods, right? Because it would really like some. So maybe there's an answer. Not that one though. This could maybe it. This does look good, doesn't it? Also an opportunity to pick up the ruin from the other side. Did we left out? There's 3 inputs here, which should be enough to get you to prosperous. And this is cheap to run. Many arguments for this, right? But the connections are fairly expensive, I would have to say. And I'm not so sure we can get it to prosper at some point, but with enough connections we should be able to. Would like it to make more stuff. There's no real way to do so. I mean, there's Genesis cells, right? That could be amazing. Actually, Genesis cells could be quite good. We can make water for you, and we can make biomass for this one. There's quite a few options there. I don't know how I would make a robot there, though. Maybe you don't need to. The thing is, I don't have a human there to make a robot with. If I did, it would be a lot easier to, you know, sort of... We could just go with the expensive things first, right? This sort of like makes everything at least unhappy. That's the highest possible income. But kind of a low amount of wealth. So we'd have to scan a bit. Which does make some science, slowly. Yeah, this is sort of the issue here. There's no good way of getting additional humans. Maybe I shouldn't have built this lab, in hindsight. It's hard to tell. There's no good way of... I mean, I guess we could do this, right? Is that even out of range? Or is the asteroid in the way? It's slightly out of range even still. Yeah, so we'd be gambling on finding a human planet up here. Essentially. Do we have FlexiFab? No, right? So that's the other thing, right? Forge roads are going to be the only source of goods for... I mean, Starbirth, right, might fix things. But... other than that, forge worlds are our only source of goods. We got one here, right? So we could potentially use that with a teleporter for these 2. But yeah, forge world should be kind of, you know, reserved for goods making. If we can help it. Vittori wants us to invent some techs. Dender wants us to get food producing to successful. Right, for which this one is going to be tough. Because they're obstructed, and I obstructed this deliberately in the very beginning. So that was a trade-off I had to make. This one requires a late game tech. So this is really the one we want to do. And there is a way, right? But I'm debating whether or not we should really take this or not. That's a bots factory. I think we should. This creates food, and then the food can go there for, you know, a very expensive connection. But then that connection makes it successful. So that's one of the two, right? We're not even there yet, but it's a start. So I wanted to make a science lab, but I don't think we're going to because we'd kind of be out of money if I did. So now where do we get the second food producing plant successful? There's another one we need to do. And there's no real way of getting biomatter for you, for example. Well, it could be in here, right? There's an ability to get an additional bot in there to make more here as well. Which you could send out something there. But overall, all of this is being used, basically. Alright, well, there's some good scans here at the very least. I'm not sure whether or not we'll be able to support another food plant in here. Doesn't seem very likely with all these ice balls. They're not the greatest thing in the world. You know, there's an additional colony at least available to be a consumer of food, but maybe we should look somewhere else. And perhaps up here in the corner we could do something fancy. One thing I was looking at is this, right? But that was out of range. That's the problem. Like, the thing we could do is mechanize harvest, and you know, we could make food right there. Also sort of that's just obstructed though. But yeah, this is an easy consumer of food as well, right? It's an easy creator, but we don't know what we want to make where here, because it depends on the things that are invisible in the back. That's the difficult part. And I can always, you know, sort of chain this back, so don't need to worry about that sort of stuff. Well, I don't really know if I want to send the water down or whether or not I want to send it up. If I send it up, we can make some ore, right? Well, if you have lots of colonies, you can send. You don't have to send a single food to a colony, right? You can send two, like we did here. So if you have enough colonies, you can sort of overlap the food. The food plants, usually the problem is the biomatter with them. Although for this one, it's the tertiary resource, so that works. In this case, we've got a monoculture farm, which we can sort of already get going. It's just this slight obstruction that's in the way. So I'm trying to think, we could also colonize that and scout up there. I'm thinking of like going for something here. And probably the monoculture farm. Because there are two ways of fixing that up. So it's like any configuration is going to probably include that particular plant, and we'll just sort of like scan around it and see what we want to do. Yes, and we get a desert here, which I would have loved to farm up, but no such luck. Okay, so does this work? It just barely doesn't. Everything is slightly obstructed here with this. Kind of like inch this jungle up. Do we have like what's that tech again? Yeah, we don't. No tugs for us. Well, maybe there's a colony here. Nope. Does this work? Oh, that works. Well, hold on. If that works, then don't we have an answer? No matter what I do, I'm going to bleed this jungle planet. So, do I want it closer left? Or do I want this one as a human planet? This jungle planet at the very least will maybe with like relays or something have some solutions. Well, this one, well, it can't really go anywhere. So let's go ahead and start with a Gaia world then. It's the cheapest to run, I believe, over this colony. And then that sends, it creates additional food. And then the food can go into the colony here, which will remain struggling, I suppose. And then the final part of the solution is this colony over in this corner, which leads to producing the mission complete. And that gives us some money to invest, I suppose, in science. And then we can double our science. Do we want food processors and stuff first? Maybe, right? But the thing is, if I don't invest this right now, we'll never get to the late game with like the lack of regular labs we have. So let's go. Okay. So now 2 more techs to move on as well, right? Probably Genesis cells would be good. What machine sentience? That would send out a robot in there, which I don't really want to do. I'm keeping my eye on the prize of Elysium projects, right? So, like, losing our robot here is kind of a big deal. I don't know if I have a way to prevent it either. It would be kind of neat though to get machine sentience with this sort of setup, because there's like all these which basically become human into human, which means they can just sort of like connect into loops by themselves, which is, you know, kind of funky and all, but it works. But it does preclude some things, right? These are going to be problematic. Like, I could, but I don't need to. So, 1 more tech and we get 8 science. So, is there perhaps a way to build a lab at some point, at this point? Like, maybe we do use this robot to laboratory? But then it'll be very hard to get robots into both places. So I mean, there's this. There's also you, who can maybe upgrade to make a robot. And you know, we do have teleporters, which can eventually, you know, cause some happy results. And diversion will make them, you know, usable. But that is a lab with 2 robots and a human, which is not terrible. Also, I'm just realizing we actually can't build Elysium projects because we have orbital labs. What am I thinking? So we can just happily take Genesis cells and machine sentience and just build prosperous planets. Like, I don't think we actually go for this at all. As good, as nice as it is, it doesn't work well with this together, right? We had the other science thing. What is it? These, for example, or the AI. Could maybe go for them. Yeah, I could see this run also working with xeno studies instead of hydroponics. But I decided to go for hydroponics, right? You gotta pick something. So in that case, since it doesn't matter, why don't we just mine? There's no reason not to. Also, you know, these make more income too. Deep drilling. Alright, so with that out of the way, maybe there's no reason not to grab 3 additional science like this. So you make an additional human too. That's neat. Yeah, if I... out of range. Maybe solve this. There's no way to get an additional orbital lab, is there? No. Okay, you were just out of range, which was kind of annoying. 22, huh? Is there a tech I might want? Probably not Enlightenment, I would imagine. Trade League, maybe? It makes some happiness too, but we don't have any spare resources anywhere. We're doing quite well in that respect. Oh, no, 3 different kinds, right? That's what you want for Trade League. Maybe a recycling operation over here too. We have a bot lab there already, so it's like we can use both those resources, right? Well, that's out of range, so these goods will stay like this for a while, but that seems okay. The thing that really infuriates me is this particular planet's position, right? It's sort of not quite where it wants to, where it needs to be. I think the best tech for us to get though is most decidedly going to be Genesis cells at this point. So there are many places where we could use those. So why don't I grab this colony? Let's have a look here first. There is so many of these, right? We'll probably be able to get some energy or something, right? And if not, there's always Starbirth in the late game. And then we can go ahead and grab the mine and then go into the next sort of thing. Okay. Doesn't completely bode well. All right. Less than amazing. Ascension gates. Well, we can just study them. Why don't I pick up Genesis cells first? We do get lots of science points like this, right? Another 6 science points like that. Maybe wait, because maybe there's another task. Improve our science output by 6. I mean, we will do that. It's not a hard mission. And then 11 ore or make it prosperous. 11 ore, huh? We can make 1 ore here, 2 ore there. But what about the other 9? Yeah, that's always difficult. Can we get a prosperous plant there? What about this one? Oh yeah, that's very easy. Okay, so this is one of the missions we want to do. And that's the science output is the other one. Oh yeah, one easy way of making a prosperous plant, just clicking this button. There we go. It's a pretty quick mission. That's some good money. Pick up. So yeah, what we want to do is make, if we want to make the science, we can just invest 20 into 2 science a bunch of times. Perhaps relay is another thing we want to do now. Over teleporter? Does that make any sense? Teleporter's Vittori, right? It sort of precludes itself, doesn't it? Relay would be very nice for this planet because we could just sort of relay here, solve this, relay there, solve that. I don't know if I want this planet though. Really loved some food here, but Seems like we're not getting it. So what am I doing with all this ore? No idea. Perhaps throw it into the science lab. This. Agro world. And then what are you going to be? We can't use up the. Oh, we'll have to use this asteroid, I suppose then. But yeah, like agro world here does make some sense. A little bit out of range. Just a bit. Like the thing with the teleporters is they cost 50. The regular relays cost 20. So if we can just build a regular relay, that does save you quite a bit of money over building a teleporter. I don't quite have the money to just sort of slap down 50 cost teleporters everywhere. There's also replicating knives, which could be good to get, because we do have Dender discount. One more tech and they are available. Which, why don't we make that one tech something? Say, machine sentience does nothing because we use the robots to make science. Yeah, slipstream relay into like nanites probably. Not really what I expected to be doing, but it seems like that's the way we're guided. I'll build a science colony there. Although, maybe restore it and settle it might be better. Because, like, we can get goods from here. If I'm going to just sort of, like... Because I don't know if there's robots for you, so... I want to get this up. We can restore it and settle it. Creates more humans and happiness. What are the other options? Before I do that, this is a good sink for food, right? It also wants goods, which we can give it. So sure. We have so little money. I'd want like 3 more science in order to get the things as well. I don't know if we do that at all. Like, just 20 money might just be more valuable. And more necessary. So there's no real way of getting a lot more money here. These all need... That's pointless. These all need goods, which I can't really get right now. This is what teleporters were intended to fix, right? It's like 3 goods needed here. None of which we can sort of fix. We can do 2 science, 4 science. We can sort of get there. But it requires basically missing this whole year, so... Well, I use this year for something at least a little bit productive. And have a look down here if there's something we can do. Well... Perhaps. Although what I do with the food is the second question. One other ability we have, by the way, with Genesis is that sort of thing, right? You can also upgrade the biomatter in here, although it doesn't really do anything. As long as this connection still to be made. Because that takes up a month. Unfortunately, you can't really go anywhere. Although, you know, we could relay at some point. Also, this one could be relayed, actually. There's like a bunch of things that could be relayed over here. That's the beautiful part. Sort of why I would love to have them. I don't know if it's a great idea. That's a bit unfortunate, isn't it? We'll have to scan for just this one little thing. There's an asteroid though, so that's nice. Can we... What about the farm over here? I'm trying to use this bot effectively, right? We could also do water. We can make lots of the stuff, right? We can make some kind of big science lab out of it. If we can find some way to colonize in the corners. We could start with the water lab. Or the dual cast. Either way is good, right? Sort of check out what's over here. Ah, that was a good choice then. So then, before we go to next year, we got some extra money, so let's go ahead and invest some of that into science. Sort of slowly building the orbital labs we need, right? Not building them all at the same time, but at the same time not going too crazy with them. Okay, we can take an asteroid and go to next year. And then that gives us enough science to build slipstream relay. Which I really want to fix this, right? Because we're at -7, yeah. Just in time. -6 too, so... Go ahead and start with this though. Okay. You could be fixed next year as well. Don't need to rush, I suppose. Sort of fix this as intelligently as possible. 27 if we take the money, right? That's also a thing. We sort of try to up the money and try to optimize before 32 and then take the money and then build the remaining orbital labs, right? I do want to spend my time efficiently. So if I start with this, I can get the science here as well, if I suppose I want to. Is that another 8 science I could get? I'm working towards the replicating nanites, right? Okay, we can sort of take one more lab here. And we take one more at the start of next year. And then that should be the final orbital lab. There was like one more colony available. Yeah, this one. Okay, we get the Vittori discount. Which now we have discount on teleportation and on nanites. Which is good. Also, I just realized I used this last person here, so we can't fix this now. It's always something, isn't it? I checked the missions out, but I can't undo. Okay, well, so be it. We'll definitely get your mission, and then probably just this. Because we kind of want to make prosperous plans at this point, I would imagine. Okay, I would imagine we don't really want to go over 32 very much at all. So we don't need to fix this right now. I'd rather be interested in sort of like not making you go over to 8% if I could help it at all, which I can. Do we mind building? I guess we do, because sort of like this is sort of a good two-way trade, and then that solves things. But I mean, that can be done. Okay. Yeah. So what we want to do is sort of like relay around this. So we can. There we go. We can sort of do this one in the nick of time as well, right? And then I suppose you would like two-way trade here. Well, that doesn't make a lot of money, right? It actually loses money right now. Because you need to fix up the whole thing. So we could like do things like that instead. Anything else? There isn't much else I go with this plan. I can get to 28, I suppose, at this point. Sort of use that to bridge us over this year. It's kind of a difficult year to get enough money. I need 45 to get nanites. I'm not sure how good that is at this point if we're going to transition into things like limited teleportation. I would imagine it's not really. Okay, so we want to... And I think this is like 1 month short, isn't it? We've got to 31 plants, but we won't get a lot of income this year. We'll fix it all next year. That's the nice part. This is a nice cluster of plants that will fix things up. And I suppose this one will take a while. What are you at? -4. There's also one more here that we got to fix in some way, shape or form. We can go ahead and fix a lot of the other places though. I wouldn't really concern myself with maxing things out. There's also goods being required like nearly everywhere, which will be a problem because this won't have enough by itself to satisfy all the colonies we've got. So we're going to need a second source, and it's going to also become, you know, full of teleporters. So yeah. This is not ideal, is what we're getting at. Alright, well. Okay. Yeah, I might want to not take that then. There's so many asteroids here that we could take efficiently, right? Let's go ahead and find the Gaia world then. Take the 16. This connection as well. And, what do I do here? I guess you're going to make goods out of this stuff, but we're going to have to like yeah, we're going to have to use oh, well, we went to Vars for that. This is not worth it. Better to just consume this one asteroid then. Makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? Just a straightforward thing here. Okay, and then what we can also do is we can use the Genesis cells to send you an additional water. Now we're making lots of food here. Although, do I want to send the water in there? I could also... You know, there is also stream splitting. That is a tech that exists. I don't know if I want it. Stream splitting plus teleporters, right? We could do some shenanigans with that. Although it's horribly expensive to do so, so I would imagine that's not really what you want to do. There's like a way to get biomatter in here. And we can send out another food. So I'm like wondering how I can get some kind of like you need another successful partner though, is the thing. And that's going to be the harder part. Not necessarily the fact that it's, you know, it's got all the things it wants. The same goes for this. Like these colonies that are in the middle are sort of the problem. They are preventing us from getting results. We can get, for example, create this link here, but until we have some form of goods, all of these are stranded. The state they're in right now, so I suppose we should then expand. Which then, you know, replicating nanites would be the more logical choice. Because it makes all colonies real cheap to build. Well, I'll have a look over here as well, see if we can't. Okay, so in that scenario, I think the best thing to do would be to get a robot, which would have to come from here. Oh, these connections are going to be horribly expensive. But if I don't want to get them -8, we'll have to take the horribly expensive connections. We have 100. So that does help a little bit, but I mean, better now than later when this Slipways overload is going to kick in, right? Right now it's still 25, so it's still somewhat doable to do this sort of thing. It's sort of like, you know, going all over the place to do this. I mean, that does connect in a bunch of places. Again, no goods though, right? So how are we going to ever get goods into here? I don't particularly know. I mean, does stream splitting actually apply to teleporters? I don't know, like it used to be the teleporters were ridiculous because you could put in whatever amount you want into them. But I would imagine, you know, with just stream splitting, then maybe, right? And also just take infra space though. That might be better. In our case, all things considered, I don't know. Depends on what we can reach, right? Like, teleporters are cheaper to connect to than infraways are, but we can only connect one thing, right? Infraways, you kind of sort of like connect 3 things into an infraway. That can be good. Right, for example, if I made this, right, I could infraway and connect in 2 things. I just need like some help, right? Can we get you some help? Well, that doesn't help. That doesn't help at all. Oh, we have out of money, huh? Well, not really, right? We've got more asteroids. I only got 50 income this year, though. It's because of dinging to 32, right? That does that sort of thing. We do get some more asteroids, but I prefer to consume them when they're actually valuable, right? You actually get full value out of them. Feels bad to get it for one planet all the time. Not much you can do sometimes, though. What about making water here? Right. There's so many asteroids here, I kind of want to do it. I would just love to get some sort of like way to make goods more easily, but I guess we're gonna just go with Starbirth, right? That would fix up a bunch of things too. So how am I gonna make a prosperous ore world? I don't know that yet. One way to just be throw it into a lab, I suppose. Although infraways over here would maybe also solve some things. There's a connection here we can still make. Send in the water. Like this one would want lots of inputs and outputs though. Because over like sort of. So we can farm plants for 0, right? So yeah. Or they want to do the thing with the most running costs, I suppose. Lots of places, but so if I also like put this here, right? And this does make some sense, I would suppose. Right. So then perhaps stream splitting does make some sense. Because you know we can make use out of it. You get 29 to get an additional orbital lab. Instead of the 8 science, I mean I should have gotten it. No, I couldn't have gotten it earlier because we didn't have the. I guess here, right? Alright. So now what? No goods anywhere, right? That's the problem. Well, there are goods here, but we can't deliver them anywhere yet. Get an infraway, right? Infraway will solve a lot of problems. But lack of goods is always going to be kind of hard to deal with here. I might just start taking some goods worlds at the very least. Try to get this in time. Where else would I want some goods? Maybe over here too. The reason to take all these good worlds would be to improve all our colonies. And then we'll go ahead and sort of like connect them all in later on. Like if we can get some ore into both of these, they would produce an additional good. Which could then be sent, you know, into another colony via an infraway. There's 2 locations for that now. I'm gonna get 3 more plants until we hit 40, which we cannot hit, definitely. That's too much. So we got 3 more like, things we can go and build. I got 3 colonization, so one thing I'm looking at is this one. Send out the food here. Could even get Genesis cells in here, making you successful at the very least to start off with. Wouldn't know what to do with the water. Maybe it could be sent into here later. Oh, this connection over here, where do you go? Like a chip here would also be nice. Send into here to make a robot. But there's like a bunch of things we could do, but none of them are too amazing. So I would have maybe should have done this at some point, but there's an opportunity for that. There might be an opportunity for doing this. Oh, then what's the point, right? We can just send the water in here. no point to it, I think, because we're already sending a water in there. Although, wait, hold on a second. Sending in 2 water does make this... sending in 2 water does make this, I believe, successful at some point, right? So it does help. Or, sorry, prosperous, right? Because if it can send out enough of its ores, then it can become prosperous. I wouldn't really know how, but it could. Is, I believe, the point. We can't really use this one very well either. Need more infraways. But we do get opportunities to send out goods everywhere, so that's nice. Alright, so what are we doing with this one? Yeah, that's a question, isn't it? Like, you are obstructed by that. We could send out food here, right? And that would allow this one to pop successful as well. Then we're like surrounded by successful planets here, right? None of them can get the prosperous. Although, you know, they get quite close. What else would we do with it, though? Food, and then maybe a robot from here? Like, if we can get like a 3-way trade or something, that'd be good. I think we need a 4-way trade, though, to make this work. Right, we can send a human into here to make water. The water can go here. We need another human. Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it? We need 2 humans. We don't have 2 humans. We only have 1. So we can't get the water for this. Still, I can make a robot for you and can make a food for there. And a human for there. That's okay still. Although, you know, why don't we just do the direct connection in that case? Right, if I just do this, then that's available. I don't know what I'm doing with my time though, right? Like, Infraspace Master is kind of what we need to sort of fix all these things. And I'm not really using my time very efficiently. Like, we need chips from here, because otherwise we can't fix all of these with chips. Like, I can add that in, right? I mean, I guess we can do this recycling operation, right? Next year, we could skip. Feels bad though, so maybe we explore first. Like, if I try to found too many oh. Well, this is goods. But yeah, I would like more goods. Let's go ahead and do it like that. This is better. This is lots of opportunities to do things with. Like, we can now do just a regular way just to send out lots of goods everywhere. That's good. And that finally unlocks the people. Okay, we now have some, like, now we can do some things. That's sort of the thing we were having some problems with, not being able to do anything. And now we finally can, although we ran out of money again. I mean, I could consume this one at the very least. What about the other one? Yeah, look at that. 2 prosperous plants, right? It's like all these plants are so close to being prosperous. They all just need a little nudge. Which is mostly just sort of like making the colonies have goods, right? And then everything turns out prosperous. So that's nice. Like making an ore plant prosperous. Like, what does this thing need? 1 more partner and then outputs. Or inputs. Inputs work too. Upgrading you gives you an input. So just 1 output is needed. We could just lab 1 output, I suppose, right? doesn't necessarily have to go anywhere. Although we could also send an output in there, that works. So, yeah. I wanted to make a robot in here. We have one more planet we can make. Is that going to be our one more planet for the remainder of the run, though? Do we have the ability to make that robot work? I don't think we necessarily do. I think it costs more as well, right? It costs like 7, yeah. Might as well just pick up the asteroid then. And this one as well. Just pick up as much money as I can so we can actually build some infraways. And then skip. I have 113. That's pathetically little money to build infraways with, that's the problem. Infrawaves are very expensive. You gotta do it. Okay, the best way to use infraways is to make sure that we can use them for 2 things at a time. So for example, over here, I want to get the chips in as well. Right, so 1 output, 2 output. That's a start. Now, thing is, oh yeah, right, we needed this Genesis cells. Now what? Needs another successful partner. Oh, darn. What do we do now? Well, not to fear, infraways are here. We can send a human in here, producers of water, the water can go in there. That works, but I want the second leg of the infraway to do something. Which is food is already being sent in there is the thing. One thing that could be done is send this water into here. This human as well then? Sort of trying to think at like how do we do this so that like we use all the things. Anyway, we can't afford another infrared, of course. Oh, God, these things are so expensive. Well, maybe change the order. That doesn't necessarily have to be the order in which we build things. Like if we can get this thing up and there's some money in there, that would be nice. Is there a way to put this up so that I can get both of these? Oh, it does appear to be a way. I mean, there's your den emission, right? Yeah, we got 56 from here. As you know, there was quantum computing in here the whole time. Man, if I had known that, right? We would have rushed for that and gone for quantum computing. That would have made so much more sense this run. We could have gotten Elysium projects. What did I do? I have no idea. But yeah, this is sort of sad. Le sad. Well, I think that's worth doing just for the additional 8 money we can get. Alright, so now we gotta focus on getting, you know, this one up because we're wasting prosperous upgrades. Essentially, right? So now what did I want to do with this other thing? Oh, yeah, we wanted to get this this one in. So, you know, you just sort of like want to sort of max you. How do we do that? One way was to get this and this in, right? Oh, right, we can't afford one more. This time we really are out of... well, not necessarily. Yeah, let's go ahead and pick this one up too. And look, another 57 credits. Why don't I pick those up? We're sort of scavenging our way to the victory here, but that's fine. I just want to get value. Alright, is this okay? Feels like it's okay. Alright. Didn't necessarily need the water in there, but sure. 2 more ore producing. Can you not? I mean, that's probably the one we want to do out of all these 3, to be honest. And getting 13 population or a lab studying chips. Sure, we can do those, right? Just colonize everything, but in case of the chip lab, you know, waste all our money. No, we're gonna make some more prosperous plants. Okay, so what are you? Minus 5%. I wouldn't really know how to use all the chips very well, though. And I guess that's some good options, right? Gotta put this like right in here. That way we can do this connection as well. So yeah, the trick would be like I can make a recycling operation and connect to both of them, right? And this as well. That would sort of make some sense. So we ended up not upgrading this at all. Kind of funny. So there is you. That is funny. Take another one. How much is this? 20. Can I like put that closer so that that costs us less? Like that? Only 17 like that. Doesn't really matter, does it? You've got this kind of connection, right? Oh, we can maybe use this time to colonize some things, right? Like me to colonize you. I mean, no, I don't, because we lose money. We'll use this year to sort of do that, I suppose. And that sort of fixes the sort of loop here, right? For whatever reason you might want to. What do we do with all this ore? We're going to need like some kind of modification. Like that. Needs another input or export. Which I guess this will do. But like it's not efficient at all. But you know, where else would we be sending this stuff, right? There's not much other places to send it to. I guess we should just put it in our ore lab. But like, you know, if I'm going to do that, then why don't I take that 115 income and use that to do it with, right? That seems like a better way to go about things. So do you have enough partners right now? You don't, right? So you gotta do this. That gives you enough partners, right? So then, I mean, that makes you successful, right? Sure, but you know, all the way from there, up there, I don't think about that, right? I think that's a good idea, but do we have any other idea? Like this Bakar mission sort of is annoying because we can't. there's no any more efficient way of doing this in a better order. We could just sort of ignore the mission for a while and do, you know, the efficient thing, which would be, you know, to connect things like this, for example, right? Which makes more money, makes more prosperity in the end than the other options, but isn't going to give us as much in terms of... So are you maxed out? You are. Wow. I see a way. We'd have to skip this year again. Oh, isn't that new, right? Don't you have something that we can like, research at this point, maybe? I could take Starbirth, for example. Although I don't know if it'll do us much good. You can allow extra inputs into various places, right? Starbirth, that is. Like technocracy doesn't do anything. Space time version doesn't do anything because we don't have money. Machine sentience, right. Same with drillbots. The ruins, yeah, the ruins are good. There's also still a Elysium project, but I don't think we have any place that could possibly do that. That doesn't already have an orbital lab in it, because you know, that's a project, so you can't get more than one project in the same place. I think we're dealing with. You've got to go over 40, which is also... maybe this. Maybe we can use the stars in some fashion again, like prosperous plants, because there's like one here and one here, right? We can definitely do that. And there's also emission-driven industry at some point available. Teleporters available at some point as well. Although they're kind of redundant if you have infraways and stream splitting and all the other things. I don't think teleporters are the best, you know, use of our money and time. Let's send in the water and take out a food here. I can easily make this prosperous. I can easily make anything prosperous but a mineral world, right? That's sort of the thing. Yeah, I think it's time to solve this up. You could at any point make a star, but this sort of works, so I'll just go with the simple solution, I suppose. I'll sort of let that sit there. Is there an argument to be made to send this out as our final prosperous world? It'd be quite the challenge to get it working, though. I mean, we could like build like a relay thing here. And you know that would connect all three, and then you would become prosperous, and you would send out a good in here, and this would become successful. Sure. Would use up this second ore, and then you know this thing will need a total of 6 connections. Oh, there's another one of these ocean worlds here, so that would work. And then it would also need water, which we can get here, and then we can solve this with like a triple point. All right. Yeah. Okay, and then that can go in there. And then, you know, we need this connection as well as that one. This needs to go in here, that needs to go in there. There is a way to do that. I believe it's just a case of infraway though. Yeah. Do we have the time to do this actually? Are we going to just about run out of time? That would be so rude. Wait. I think we're just out of time for this. If I am correct about this, like, sure, right? That gives you your first partner, right? But now, I believe we're just out of time and out of money as well. But like the idea would be to use regular relays here to sort of like connect all these. Also out of money, right? And then, oh wait, this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this needs a chip or a bot. Where's it getting that from? Here. Which that is available. But now, right? And also we can only connect in possibly just the one. Well, this whole scheme doesn't work. It's both too expensive and not practical. And this is also just awfully impractical, I would imagine. There's a second robot here coming from. I mean, here, sure. Then where's the chip coming from? Well, all the way over there, right? Like that's also expensive connections, right? That would make successful planets, right? 2 partners for this thing. It needs a third partner, and then it also needs to take care of 2 of its ores, which I have no clue where we're going to send 1 more of its ores. But that's a problem. There's this water over here, which could go somewhere, but can't realistically. There's this water. I mean, I suppose we could do that, but that's out of range. So, you know, we're going to have to do something horribly expensive again for this as well. I could do this sort of thing, right? That creates a partner and a thing. But now, you know, you're stuck. I guess we could try it and see what happens, right? That would mean like trying to get this sort of... Okay, that just about... We can't even do that connection at all, right? These connections are too long and too expensive to be able to do. 52, can we? Oh, we can afford teleporters. Oh, that's also a way to try it. Teleporters do allow you to build these connections for much cheaper if they're that incredibly long. I would imagine, at least. So we sort of teleport things to places. I don't know how good that will be, but we'll try and see what happens. We try to teleport things. We still won't make this in one go, but you know, we'll save off quite a bit of the money, I would imagine. So that's one of your connections, right? And here's your second one. Sure, but now we're left with 51 money and still 1 more successful planet to go and 1 more connection to go. There's your successful planet. And then 1 export. Done. It can be done with 1 credit spare. Is this what we want to do though? I mean, not completing a mission costs you lots of points, right? I should not have taken that mission is the thing, right? But then again, I mean, I should have had more money, right? To do this sort of thing with. Maybe a smaller empire would have been better. Well, in any case, like, you know, not doing the whole orbital labs thing and getting this one would have been better because we would have had quantum computing instead. Oh well. GG. sneaky run. Decline the mission. And push the button. I mean, we could like see 19763. If we make this, do we get more? No. The happiness loss is not enough to offset the ore we're making. Sometimes that happens, right? We got this thing where if you make more ore, you get 50 points per thing, but yeah, I don't know. Like 50 is kind of a tiny amount, isn't it? I think normally for this amount of empire size, we would be getting 2,000 points. It should probably be more than 50. Mining focus is pretty bad. Okay, let's go ahead and... I'm gonna go ahead and note this down though. 19... what was it? Like 19763? For... deep drilling. It's kind of a very low score for a run with science things though.